It's not just a rock in the jungle. On its top, there are traces of an ancient civilization that was acquainted with advanced technologies. More than 1,000 years have passed, but they still function and look like new. This place is as mysterious as the pyramids in Egypt and Mexico, or Machu Picchu in Peru. It is called Sigiriya and located in the center of Sri Lanka. It's a fortress palace with a complex technical and creative design and construction that is not easy to implement even today. The main archaeological research was conducted in Sigiriya more than 100 years ago. So it doesn't answer many questions, and there are simplifications. According to it, Sigiriya was built in the 5th century, more than 1,500 years ago. The height of the rock is 180 meters. It's like a 60-story skyscraper. The first mystery is how could people raise building materials, numerous bricks, equipment and utensils, as well as food and provisions every day to such a height. After all, there were no elevators. It was also impossible to make sand mounds around the rock, as in Egypt. It's not just the height that impresses, but also the technical perfection of the complex. On the top of the rock, there is still a fountain pool system which doesn't overflow during the rainy season and doesn't dry out in the heat. Some gardens are still irrigated. So, the water supply and drainage systems in Sigiriya have been operating for more than 1,500 years. Can you believe that? Take a look at the rock. Now imagine that one side of it is almost completely covered with frescoes. The huge gallery was almost the size of a football field. Now only about 20 frescoes are preserved. A question is how they could be drawn on such a scale, and how they could survive for 1,500 years in a region where heavy rains are replaced by intense heat. Don't renew the plaster outside the house for 20 years, and it will look terrible. But here, much more time has passed, and the frescoes have survived. The same question arises: how did the brickwork survive in such weather conditions for so long? Look how many bricks were used in the construction. They could have built a city instead. In some places, the masonry is like new. People in ancient times knew how to process not only bricks, but also stone. Look how the benches and pools are made. They are with a perfect flat surface and perfect shape, as if it were not a granite monolith, but butter that had been run over with a knife. And that is amazing. But the main question, who and why built a unique complex on the top of the rock in such an inconvenient place, far from everywhere? In Sri Lanka, one legend about the origin of Sigiriya is popular. In the 5th century, while the Roman Empire was falling apart in Europe, here in Sri Lanka, Kashyapa I, the son of the ruling king, overthrew his father and usurped power. The throne was supposed to pass to his brother Magallana, but he, fearing for his life, fled to South India, where he was gathering an army to return the throne. Because he was afraid of an attack by Magallana, Kashyapa moved the capital and his residence from the traditional capital of Anuradhapura to the more secure Sigiriya. In less than 20 years, he built a city with a palace and fortress on the rock. After some time, Magallana returned to the island with a large army to regain the throne and defeated his brother in battle. Magallana destroyed the palace, converted Sigiriya into a Buddhist monastery, and returned the capital to Anuradhapura. For centuries, Sigiriya was abandoned until it was accidentally discovered in the 19th century. To be honest, it seems implausible to me that Kashyapa built Sigiriya in such a short period of time, and that it was exactly him who ordered to construct the complex. It is not possible to find out the truth now, but think about this. Firstly, the construction of such a large-scale and complex structure requires great experience in building something similar, but nothing like it was ever found on the island. Sigiriya is unique. It's hard to believe that they could build a palace with gardens and pools at such a height in less than 20 years with no experience. Secondly, it's assumed that a lion was carved on the front side of the rock, and its mouth was the entrance to the fortress. Now only parts remain from the sculpture, but by these sides you can understand that the lion was huge. It's believed that the lion's head eventually dropped for some reason, but there are no signs of its fall. We can see untouched brickwork beneath. So maybe the brickwork appeared here later, after the fall of the lion's head. Most likely, Kashyapa came to Sigiriya when it was already built, or he completed its building. But who, when and why constructed it in the first place? That is a big mystery. Who do you think could have built Sigiriya? Write your versions in the comments below. If you like what we do, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we will tell you about the most ancient place on Earth that man ever built. That's all for today. See you!